Hey guys, what's up? Hope you're all doing well and having a fabulous weekend. I know that I am. I haven't gone out much. We have a heat advisory here in the south. It has been so hot. It was, I think, 90 degrees still at around 7:38, and it's now around 11 and it's still almost 80 degrees outside with no sun out. So yeah, it kind of limits things around here because as soon as you step out of the door, you are drenched in sweat, and my car has no air conditioning, so your girl's gonna be laying low until that passes. But it's still been beautiful outside. I can't complain about the view from the window, but I will be staying in the air conditioning. Today, I want to talk about discovering some writing, some interpretations, a channel that I saw on YouTube. I cannot remember the name of her channel, and I wish I could. I really went and looked for it and I couldn't find it, but she talks about how you are God experiencing itself and how it's a love affair. And I've only watched a couple of her videos because it kind of just goes round and round in circles, but she seems very euphoric when she's talking about it. I mean, she's very blissful and happy, and she talks about raising her kids and how when they were younger they asked why, and how you come up with an answer to satisfy the why, but it really doesn't matter. I remember I used to, when I first went through my divorce, I would say, this person, my cousin, who I used to call my brother, he was like my ex's best friend, and I was like, how could he do this to me? And I had a roommate that I let stay in my den, which had like its separate bathroom and stuff, and he would say it doesn't matter in his like drunken state, and it made me mad because I was like, well, it does to me. How can you discount that? This happened to me and not you, and holding on to this pain and prolonging the suffering and stuff. And so whenever I would think about it after that, after I had some time to really let it sink in, I was like, it doesn't matter. Anytime something would hurt my feelings, I would hear his voice in the back of my head. And shout out Bloody. His name was Bloodsworth, but we called him Bloody, and or Larry, whatever you want to be called these days. I don't know what he goes by now, but anyway, I still hear his voice in my head saying that because it really doesn't matter. And I wanted to get some housekeeping out of the way. I went to the store earlier. The only time I went out is because I had to grab some food. But I saw a couple of people at the store actually. Like, Chattanooga is so small, and I shop close to where I go walk at my son's old school. It's like right beside where I used to live. It's very close to where I went to high school. Like, I don't live right by it, but it's like the closest grocery store to me that I want to go to. It's the closest neighborhood market. Anyway, but I saw somebody walking out and it was so funny. What's up, Anderson? Anderson Lewis, saw you with your hat down trying to like push your head down so that I can see you. I read energy. I know that you guys don't think that I can, or that it's all like made up or whatever, but I totally knew it was you before I even saw you were trying to do that. But I like to bring out the old quote that I heard on Oprah a long time ago about how wearing a disguise is like putting a napkin on your head. Because even though he wasn't putting a disguise on per se, he was trying to use his hat as a way to not be noticed. But I totally saw you, and you don't have to worry about anything because I don't want to talk to you. I saw someone later on the same visit to the store who I used to be I love as a friend. I always will, but from afar. The last time that we spoke, someone that I went to high school with, Jonesy. If you see this, this is about you, but he was telling me that it was time for me to go radio silent, and that I will never do. I will never do it because even though I won't call out certain things, like I have so many things that I could talk about, so many things that I could expose, but it's not the right time. I'm not going to do that now. I'm very much protecting my peace, and I'm not focusing on what I don't want more of. I'm focusing on what I do want more of. So I notice a lot of things. I notice everything, but the point is, I do not care. I don't care. So, big difference. But I saw him there too, and even though, he told me to be radio silent, I don't hold that against him. He said what he said for whatever reason he needed to say it. He didn't want to give validity to what was happening to me, but I know that what was happening to me is happening to a lot of people, and it is part of my purpose to help bring that to an end, to help redefine the way that we're looking at things, that people push a narrative in order to make you look at those things that way, to take attention off of their self, to keep that facade, to promote, push forward their smear campaigns and their witch hunts and things like that. And I know it's happening to so many people. And if all I have is my voice to help them with right now, I would love to have funds. I will always help others with what God gives to me. And while I don't have monetary things to give at the moment, I will always use my voice to help others. I have described myself for years as being the people's lawyer, and this was long before I ever thought that I'd have to be my own lawyer in court. But I have always stood up for people. I have always, well, not always. After I kind of like gave into my extrovert side, after I had moved to California and moved back after, like, say 23 years on this earth, I did start to open my mouth and use it to help others, stand up for people that didn't have a voice, that couldn't use their voice, that didn't know how to use their voice. So I've been doing that for years, but I never did it for myself until now. But I have a deeper understanding of what's going on, having been immersed fully into it. I see others online that it's happening to as well, and they either don't have a platform or their platform isn't being taken seriously. And I'm not saying that mine is, but I will never stop trying. So I'm going to cheer them on, and I'm going to use my voice to tell my story and encourage them to tell their story. And eventually, in my heart, I know that I am bringing into fruition a fact that will not be able to be ignored anymore. So many of these stories are so similar. So similar. It's a blueprint, there's a script, there's training to make things like this happen, and it will be exposed if I have anything to say about it. And so that's what's important to me. But I did not, I don't hold that against my high school friend, but I did not go up to him. I did not say hi to him. I keep a very low profile as far as being a loner. I am doing this solo. I have done this solo for quite some time. If I can see or just know a judge that was involved in my case by his energy in the park several times over and not approach them, I'm not going to approach Anderson. I'm not going to approach Jonesy. There's no point. It doesn't matter. I have no reason to be vigilant towards you. I have nothing to say to you. I do not want to be involved in your life anymore at all. So at this store, I have seen my oldest son's best friend twice. Have no hard feelings against him. I actually love him very much, him and his family, but I wouldn't talk to him either. Like, it's just not something that I'm interested in. I do not care. I simply don't care. It's not what I'm focused on right now. It had its time and place. I'm not going to stay stuck there. I closed the cycle. I cut the cords. I detached. So yeah, you don't have anything to worry about, Anderson. I was never mad at you anyway. The only thing that I was ever perplexed about is why you and my ex did not tell me the truth about your relationship. And I don't see anything wrong with relationships as far as same sex. I don't see anything wrong with people being bisexual. I don't see anything wrong with people being polyamorous. Whatever you want to do that's not hurting yourself or others, do it. Do it. No judgment from me whatsoever. But lying about it, withholding the truth from someone who is very much in the center of it, and that person being someone that gave you advice and loved you, and no judgment on how you live your life. I just didn't think that it was fair for me to be kept in the dark. I kept myself in the dark. For one, I was a willing participant of willful blindness for a long time. I have ignored lots of red flags, which is why I have videos on don't ignore even the first red flag, because if you see the first one, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, there's lots of things. So once you ignore one, you're gonna ignore the other. Once you confront someone with something that you already intuitively know is true, or there's truth to it, you're giving them the opportunity to explain it away. So the best thing to do is just cut your ties and walk away right then, right there, when you see the red flag. Don't give them an opportunity to lie to you, manipulate you, gaslight you. Just be done with it. Just walk away right then and there. I held on for so long thinking that I really saw the heart of this person, and that I knew them better than anyone, and that the facade that they were holding up was for other people and not me. But in reality, they had shown me who they really were, and the facade was for me, not for other people. He was being his real self with those people and not with me. So I should have cut and run on the very first red flag, long time ago. So I don't regret anything now. I have beautiful memories. But lots and lots of lessons. So nothing was good or bad about it in and of itself. It was what it was, and I had to go through it to be who I am now. So I don't regret that. But I will never be running up to anyone and you did this and you did that. Like, I don't. So part of my message, I'm going to link back into that. But I just wanted to throw it out there in case the people that I'm talking to, that I wanted to give this PSA to, don't listen to the whole message. I'm going to make it part of the intro that I don't care. I saw you. I see a lot of things. I don't care. I know a lot of things that I don't talk about, but I don't care. That's not what makes me me. That's not part of my purpose. It is on to the next for me. So anyway, no worries. So what I wanted to talk about was the channel that I saw on YouTube. The lady whom I can't find that channel to give credit to was talking about Alan Watts. And he talks about, he's a writer, he's a speaker. I'm going to read some because I don't want to get this wrong. It's a paraphrasing from an article that I found of his. I think he died in the 70s. He's much like Neville Goddard. He's a writer, speaker, philosophical interpretator, but he's speaking on the I am in regards to playing hide and seek, which I thought was brilliant. And I don't know how I haven't heard of him before, but I did do some research, and I suggest that you do your own research because there's a lot of things out there that he wrote that you can read in the entirety, and I'm just going to read like certain excerpts that tie into the message that I want to give today. But the one that I read said, so then, here's the drama. My metaphysics, let me be perfectly frank with you, is that there is a central self. You can call it God, you can call it anything you like, and it's all of us. It's playing all parts of all beings whatsoever, everywhere and anywhere. And it's playing the game of hide and seek with itself. It gets lost, it gets involved in the farthest out adventures, but in the end, it always wakes up and comes back to itself. And when you're ready to wake up, you're going to wake up. And if you're not ready to wake up, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a poor little old me. If you're here and engaged in this sort of inquiry, I assume that you're in the process of waking up, or else you're teasing yourselves with some kind of flirtation with waking up, which you are not serious about. He talks about tricks that gurus play. They say, like if you're asking them a question for clarity or for interpretation or deeper meaning, they say, who is asking that question? You're looking at me. You're looking out and unaware of what's behind your eyes. Go back in and find out who you are, where the question comes from, and why you ask. Because all of the answers are already inside of us. He says that the sense of guilt or anxiety that we feel is simply the way one experiences keeping the disguise going, disguise of the hide and seek that God plays. He says Christianity makes you feel guilty for existing, and that somehow the very real fact that you exist is an affront and you are a fallen human being. He goes back to talk about his experiences in church and on Easter and seeing Christ crucified on the cross and seeing it written and them having to color, pages talking about Sunday school and stuff, that this I have done for thee. What doest thou from me? That you feel awful, that you exist at all. But that sense of guilt is the veil across the sanctuary. Like there has to be an invitation. Don't you come in. You have to fulfill this requirement and that requirement. Then we'll let you in. So you go through the meal. But you're saying, I won't wake up until I deserve it. I won't wake up until I've made it difficult enough for me to prove to myself that I am worthy of waking up. Which is why I, after gone through many years of going to church and being involved in Christianity, that I and many other people will gravitate towards spirituality, because when your church hurt, people will lean into spirituality. There's no rules, no shame, no invitations. It's welcoming without condemnation. It's just a breath of fresh air. There's no people judging you when they don't have the right to judge you. No one's in denial. No one's in denial like they're better than anybody else over in the spiritual community. Not that I've seen maybe a couple of instances, but I call that out on my channel. I don't just let it fly. I've read a lot more of the Bible recently, and I do still cherry pick because it was written by man. I don't think that any of it should be taken just at face value alone, which is why it's open to interpretation, and a lot of self-serving individuals do interpret it to fulfill their self-serving needs. I do feel like there has to be an initiation into church, that you're not just welcomed in, that there's expectations of you, whether they are spoken out loud or not. You're being judged all of the time when you're in church, from my experience. I only went to one church where I didn't feel that way, and I've mentioned it many times, where people just came as they were, even if they were late. Everybody pitched in. Nobody was condemning, looking down on anyone. There was no big projectors. There was no band. It was a one-room little church on Signal Mountain, and I loved it. That's the way I think that it all should be, but it has gotten so far away from that because it's made into a business. It's made into a business. It's for earning money, and that is the last reason that we should be going to church. But what did I read lately? I've read Psalms like so many times. So I've read Job, Ecclesiastes, Proverbs. I read Revelations the other day. What else did I read? I can't remember right now, but I really, really liked Ecclesiastes. I've read some of it before, but not in its entirety, particularly chapter 7, verse 8, which talks about how this is very important to me. This is why I cherry pick it to share. But the end of matters is better than its beginning. The outcome is more valuable than its initial phase. And that patience is a virtue. It's better than pride. So I really, really liked that. But I encourage anyone that is interested in the Bible to read it on their own. You don't have to go to church to do it. You can interpret it how you choose to interpret it. And after that you read it on your own, especially as an adult, that is just connecting directly with source, you're taking out the middleman, you can also see how it's been misinterpreted, because you can read it on your own, in the quiet of your own home, with a stillness about you, and it will resonate in a way that rings true to your soul, to your heart, that if you have remembered it from church or another time of someone else reading it to you and interpreting it to you, you can see how it's been framed in a way that fits an agenda. A lot of times it will become crystal clear when you read it on your own, away from all of those distractions, all of those interferences between you and your maker, your source. God is what I choose to call it, but it's between you and God. It's very private. It's a very individual relationship that requires no middleman at all. And I loved going through, and I'm still doing it, loved going through the chapters and reading the books of what interests me right now, and looking back on how I've heard it angled in church before, and it is not what I took away from it at all. So I encourage all of you to do that. But getting back to the Alan Watts, he says, after all the tests I invent for myself to delay waking up until I feel I convince myself it is sufficient, then at last admit to myself who I really am, draw aside the veil, and realize that I am the I am, which is God, or whatever you want to call it. And I know a lot of Christians think that it is blasphemous to say that you are God, and I am completely humble in my journey. I would never sit here and say, I could never bring myself to say as boldly and confident, even though I feel that way. I do feel that way, but I would never go around announcing to people, I am God. But in order to wake up without pain, suffering, trauma, you have to shift your perspective, your perception, and be honest with yourself that if you can say that Jesus is God, why can't you say that we are God? And would God not say that he is us? So I think it's humble enough, without avoiding the truth, to say that we are all God. It's not just me. I'm not saying I'm God and I'm better. You're all God. You are all God. Plain and simple. That's just the bare bones of it. We are all God. And in looking at the way that Alan Watts describes it and playing hide and seek, I do find that, if we are all God, so are you, all of you, if you're willing to let yourself admit it and willing to let yourself wake up from the Maya, which is the illusion of us all being separate, that we are not all one, and that we are all not the universe, source energy in its entirety, that we are all the divine, all of us, in just different characters. We do this to ourselves. We are all the same, which is why I would not waste my precious currency that is my energy and going up to anyone that has been involved in any trauma that I've been through, any lesson that I had to learn, anyone that's lied to me, stolen from me, manipulated me, abused me, anybody. I would never run up to them on the street and, how dare you, because you are me. I am you. All the people in the grocery store, in that parking lot, we are all one. We are just walking around thinking that we are our bodies and that we are our minds. We are consciousness. We are all consciousness. It is an illusion that we are this body. We are not this body. We are bigger than this body. We are just using this as an avatar, as a vehicle to learn these lessons here, which is love. To learn to love each other regardless of who has shown you fake love, who has hurt you. Don't stay stuck in those cycles. Get in, get out. It is not that serious. It is not that serious. But we are all one, dressed up as separate individuals, and it is all God. We are all God playing hide and seek from ourselves until we decide that we have gone through enough and we give ourselves permission to wake up to the truth. That's it. That's just the simplest way that I could put it. And I love that he uses hide and seek because it is perfect for what I've been trying to say. And a lot of other people have been saying it. I don't know why it has been in my periphery, but it has not been on my tongue to explain in that way. But it is genius. I love it. But also, I think that it's a great explanation for atheists and agnostics because their argument is often, and I'm not here to argue with you, but I'm just saying, as an example, they will say, well, if there is a God, then why would he let children suffer, innocent die, murderers, pedophiles, rapists, dictators, all of that stuff? But they are all God. All of that stuff is God. We all are. All of those horrible people, there are no victims. There are no victims. We are all one, and we have all agreed to do this to ourselves. Source energy is not hurt in any way by any of those things that is happening to the body. The soul that is inside has decided that that is the experience that they wanted to have, to learn from those things and to learn to love, hopefully, regardless of all of those things. So no children are being hurt in reality because we are not the body. We are God in this body. And if we choose to do that to ourselves, if others choose to do that to us, we have free will, but we have come here with a plan. There is a plan for our life before we ever are born into this body. So we are not the body. We're having an experience, a human experience in this body, but we are all divine beings. So to look at it as like a way of cursing God, you're cursing yourself, first of all. Like, by you hurting anybody else, you're only hurting yourself. If you hurt yourself, you're hurting everybody else. Like, we are all connected. We are all one. So there's no separateness. That is an illusion. You being part of this meat suit is an illusion. There's a plan. It's all playing out just as it should. But I also found where it says people have forgotten that they are God, and that's why they can be evil. They get caught up in all of the bullshit, hence the whole hide and seek. They're not awake to who they are, to their divinity. They are playing around. It's like getting bored. It's like getting bored and spicing things up a little bit in this game that we are here to play, in this earth school that we are here to learn from. We exist in a duality. So good versus evil, light versus dark, yin, yang, ego, shadow, with your authentic higher self as the counterpart. There's two sides to every coin, and you could easily be on either side and in the same lifetime. So it depends on how quickly you learn, if you decide to give yourself permission to wake up to your divinity, to that we are all divinity, that God is playing all of us at the same time. All of us. We are all characters in this big grand scheme that is part of the universe as well. We are all connected. Everything is connected, which is why I think it's so important to not take anything for face value. It is not that serious. It doesn't matter. But at the same time, the more that you go down those rabbit holes, those mazes, the more that you stay involved in this 3D life, the longer it's going to take for you to wake up. But the more that you're going to put credence into that storyline, you're still playing the game. You're still playing the game. So you're only going to get deeper in the game and have a willful blindness to the fact that we are all divinity, and this is just something that we decided to do for fun. And if you don't think that you got out of it what you, God, the creator, you are the creator, you are creating your reality. You did that before you ever came here. It can change depending on your circumstances, on your free will, on however it plays out. Whenever you choose to let yourself wake up or admit the truth or face the whole reason why you're here, why you came here, and get out of those toxic cycles. Stop hurting everybody, stop hurting yourself, to realize that love is why. That's why we are here. So the quicker that you get out of that 3D, believing exactly what other people tell you, taking it for face value without questioning everything, that is the longer that you're going to be in the matrix, in the game, in being manipulated into thinking that we are here for anything other than we are all God, that we are having this human experience as God in this body, and that we will all return to that when we die here. So you never really die. You're going to return to source. You're going to return to the collective energy source that we are all a part of, and you can call it whatever, but I call it God. It's a beautiful thing. And the sooner that we get out of the manipulation, the indoctrination, all the things that we've been conditioned to think that are contrary to everything that I've just said, then the quicker you will be at peace, and you will protect your peace at all costs, and you won't be running up to people on the street talking about because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Just love them. Just love yourself. Don't waste your energy on anything like that. Only focus on what you want to bring into your reality, which is the lessons that you still need to learn. Calling in greater experiences for yourself, enjoying every part of this precious life that you have left, so that maybe you choose not to reincarnate next time you return to the collective energy source, that you can ascend to a higher level, to helping others for a greater purpose than this human experience, which most seem to come to the conclusion that it is suffering. It's only suffering if you allow it to be. The longer that you stay in it, the longer that you allow it, that's how long it lasts. So it's up to you on when you cut it off. You say that I've had enough suffering. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on how I'm divine and how I love everyone, because I love myself. And we are not here to be separated and hate on each other and stay in those lower vibrations, those lower densities. You are here to learn and ascend and be closer to the actuality, which is we're all source. We're all source. We're all God. I love you. God loves you. You're never alone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.